Hey, it's Chuck.
First round, I'm going to pick the Ducks. I think they got a chance to win it all this year. Penn State, Ole Miss. This is a fantastic game. I'm going to go with Ole Miss. I think the Lane Train moves on to the quarterfinals. Florida State, Notre Dame. I hate to say this, but I think Notre Dame's going to be pretty damn good this year. Bama, Texas. Just because I don't want a Bama, Georgia game, I'm going to go Texas. So now our second round, our quarterfinal games are set. Oregon, Utah. I'm going with the Ducks. Ole Miss, Ohio State. I'm going Ohio State. Notre Dame, Clemson. I'm going Clemson. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this year. And Texas, Georgia. Georgia wins. All right. The semifinal is set. Ohio State, Oregon, Clemson, Georgia. And when we put this up there, and then in about 4 months when this happens, you guys are all going to thank me later. Okay. Clemson, Georgia. Georgia into the national championship game. Ohio State into the national championship game with the Ohio State Buckeyes winning it all this year. Ryan Day finally gets over the hump. They're the champion. They beat Michigan. OHIO.
Let's get it. And I don't think he's going to throw the ball as much as he thinks he's going to throw the ball now that Chip Kelly's on board. And I'm happy about that. More quarterback. The truth is Ryan Day has made a change philosophically, but it's none of those. You all know who wins. LSU is the drunkest fan base in the country. And welcome into Juck on Bucks on a rainy, sunny Northeast Ohio day. Guys, it's Wednesday, and I saw something today that sent me down a rabbit hole, and it's just kind of got me wanting to riff on the big picture of this season. So the Buckeyes social media team, I don't know if you follow them, but they have been kind of behind the curve for a long time, but not this year. This year they've been excellent. They're putting out some really cool stuff, some behind the scenes stuff. They're asking the players a question as they're walking off the practice field, and they'll show you the funny answer from all the guys. They're putting out some cool pictures, keeping up with guys in the NFL. Just really staying on it. One of the things they've been doing is the dudes of the week. So ever since, I believe, June 6th, when they started doing their summer workouts, every week they're putting out a little clip of the guys, the three guys on the team who won the dude of the week, and a little video of each one of them killing it in workouts. And the guys that have won the dudes of the week, I'm going to read you the ones who have won the dude of the week one time. Josh Fryer, Brandon Innes, Seth McLaughlin, Jack Sawyer, Lathan Ransom, Caden Curry, Joey Velasquez, G. Scott Jr., Donovan Jackson. Those guys all won it one time. Now, the following guys have won it two times, three dudes. Patrick, three dudes, one dudes of the week. Patrick Gerd. Now, this dude's a walk-on. He's got to earn a scholarship, right? He's definitely going to play a lot this year. I really like him. 6'5", 240. Dad was a Buckeye, and I think he's going to play a pretty big role. Emeka Ibuka and Ty Hamilton. So Pat Gerd, Emeka Ibuka, and Ty Hamilton. Those guys won it two times. But there are two guys who have won it three times, and it's not going to surprise you when I tell you the first one, Cody Simon. Cody Simon is Captain Buckeye. He's going to be a captain. I know that for a fact. I'm so impressed with this dude. Nonstop talk about what a great leader he is. I guess his dad went to West Point, so he's super regimented, which I like out of a leader. Obviously, a great Buckeye. So Cody Simon, nobody's going to outwork Cody. I mean, just a fantastic build for sure. Like, this dude hits it hard in the gym. But he's the one guy. And the second guy, J.J. Smith, the freshman, best player in the country out of high school, walks into Ohio State and wins this dude of the week three times. Pretty killer. but I think it kind of shows a little bit of the bigger picture. And that is this team, from vets to freshmen, are on the same page. Crazy hardworking. The goals are in sight. They know what they got to do. And I think it's a very special team. And heading into what I think we all agree is going to be, I mean, it's the most exciting season in the history of college football, right? Every college football fan has to see it this way, but nobody has a more exciting season than us. Coming off the 3 straight losses to our rival, watching those bums hoist the trophy, the arrival of the new Big Ten members and all the new matchups that come with that, the Big Ten championship game now being between the 2 best teams instead of the East slaughtering the West and it just being, I mean, a foregone conclusion every single time. And of course, we got the new playoff and the gauntlet that it's going to take to run through that playoff. And we head into this with a team not led by coaches, but led by 8 seniors who could be in the NFL that came back. And it's so exciting, and it starts tomorrow. This brotherhood at Ohio State is real. They're all in, like we've seen very few Buckeye teams be all in. A lot of people throw out national championship or bust. I don't like to talk in those terms because in my head, there is no bust. In my head, these Ohio State Buckeyes are going to beat their rival. They're going to win the Big Ten, and they're going to be the national champions because I think there's something special. That's the way my brain's working entering this season, and I can't help it. It's been 10 years since we won a national championship, and this is the season. This is the season of dreams. Just like we won the first college football playoff, we're going to win the first 12-team college football playoff. And that's all my mind is on. I'm going to enjoy the journey for sure. But the destination is clear to me. I see it. I know it. I believe it. And I don't usually take this approach. I mean, it's not something I'm wanting to take. I just can't help it. This team's going to win it all. This is the 3rd time in my life that I've felt like we're going to win it all heading into a season. The last time was 2015. Obviously, that team didn't have the focus it took. I felt this way in 2006 as well. I don't want to get into that game or how that season ended. I'm just very confident that this is the best team in the country, not just the best roster. We got the Nationals coming aboard talking about how this is the best roster. Yeah, I believe it is. We didn't have the it factor in 2015. I'm curious to know, are you guys, how do you feel entering a season when we're super talented? How does this compare to ways you've felt about other teams we've had entering into the season? Do you often feel like we're going to win it all heading into a season? Does this feel any different to you? But the last time I felt this way was 2015. Like very confident that we can take on all comers. Not worried about who the potential matchup might be. In fact, I want the matchup against the one that is the odds-on favorite. I want to play Georgia. I'm happy that we get to play Oregon and we get to play Michigan. And I'm very confident that Ohio State's going to achieve our 3 main objectives that we enter into the season every year with. But what's different? For me, it's much more than the talent on the roster. Yes, they're incredibly talented. We've known just how talented they are, but now, of course, we're hearing it from the Joel Klatts and such. They're all coming out of the woodwork saying now Ohio State's the most talented. But then they go on to say, but Carson Beck at Georgia being a proven quarterback and Ohio State's quarterback room unproven, the Georgia offensive line being so dominant, and the fact that Kirby Smart has done it before and Ryan Day has not, makes Georgia their pick. Never mind that in the one matchup between Kirby Smart and Ryan Day ran circles around him. That happened. But it's not just the talent. The talent, that's a prerequisite for winning a national championship. We've had rosters that have been crazy talented with more eye-catching, high-end talent than this one has. A superstar quarterback, the Boses and the Chase Youngs, guys that are just like, whoa, this dude will take over a game. But this roster, across the board, we look at this defense, and realistically, this defense could feature 11 starters who are on an NFL roster at some point. Maybe a question mark, Ty Hamilton, Lathan Ransom. I just believe they both will. The 11 starters, NFL players, Jack Sawyer, JTT, Tyleek, Sonny or CJ, Cody Simon, Caleb Downs, Jordan Hancock, Denzel Burke, Davis Igbinosun, Lathan and Ty Hamilton would be the only somewhat question marks for me. And I think they're both going to be NFL players. That's 11 dudes. 11 dudes on your defense starting that I think are going to play on NFL rosters. That's crazy. On offense, Will Howard, yeah. He's going to be on an NFL roster. Travion, Quinshawn, yes. Emeka Carnell, JJ, of course. Josh Simmons and Donovan Jackson, yes. Seth McLaughlin, good possibility. We don't know who's going to be playing right guard, so we'll leave that as we'll say we don't know yet. Josh Fryer, potentially, but doesn't look great now. G. Scott, if he's the starter, he'll need to make a big improvement. So we'll call those 4 spots from center, right guard, right tackle, and tight end question marks. That gives you 7 out of 11 on the offense, which gives you 18 of 22 starters who are going to be on NFL rosters. That's ridiculous. But we've seen rosters this talented before. The difference here is the 2 deep. How many of them would have been starting this year? The NFL dudes that are backups this year. That's the difference. Because the seniors came back, and now those guys are depth pieces instead of starters. And being able to get through the rigors of a full season, how many times have we seen seasons derailed by a couple of injuries? It's the depth on this team that's the advantage. And I don't know if we've ever seen depth like this. And that's what's most exciting about this talent. It's the competition, game-ready depth. The guys that aren't starting, that's a big difference here. And it's a crazy talented roster. But what makes me so confident, not just that, it's the uniqueness of this senior class. By far. It's the senior leadership and the desperation from those seniors. And I think a lot of times we view that word as a bad word, desperation, but it's true. Those guys were in despair at the end of the season. They were in despair from losing the game again, not accomplishing any of their goals. 0 for 9. We heard it nonstop. And despair generally causes 2 reactions, right? You double down and you go harder, or you slink away and peel out. And they chose to go harder. And this senior class will go down in history one way or the other to all of us. This class that came in as one of the best in the history of the program. 7 5-stars and 14 top 100 players. Unbelievable. For comparison, the current class, the number 1 class in the country, has 11 top 100 players and 4 5-stars. But that class of 2021 was amazing. A class whose achievements as a group to this point have been a bust, a total bust. And nobody saw that coming. We look at when that class came in 2021, we were flying high, man. If you'd have told us back then you're about to lose 3 editions of the game straight, go 0 for 9 on your goals, I don't think I would have believed you. But of that class of 2021, out of those top 100 players, who hit? Who lived up to their billing? I'm just going to give you my opinion here. Obviously, it's just my opinion. Quinn Ewers hit, obviously, going to be a first-round pick, but it didn't happen with us. JTT, I mean, the expectations for him were probably a little higher, but currently projected as a first-rounder or an early second, like, that's a hit. Jack, another early second-rounder projection heading into this season, but I think a lot of people believe, myself included, that he's about to blow up this year and really raise his stock. Donovan Jackson came in as a 5-star. You know, who knows where he's going to be drafted exactly. He's a guard, and guards are undervalued. He's been very solid. He's been a solid lineman. I think he'll be really good this year. Emeka, absolutely going to be a first-round pick or, early second-round pick. I think he's been very undervalued by our own fan base, some of whom wanted him to go to the NFL. Gosh, what a mistake that would, like, honestly, to wish him off of this team. Yeah, I couldn't get behind it when they were saying it back then, and now it even looks more ridiculous. Travion, absolutely a hit. Kyle McCord, definitely not for us, but who knows? He may improve. J.K. Johnson was a top 100 player. That's a no. Mike Hall, absolutely. Jordan Hancock, yeah. Evan Pryor, career derailed with injuries, no. Reed Carrico, no. Marvin Harrison Jr., absolutely. Jaden Ballard, you guys know how frustrated I am by that guy. That's a big no. A couple of guys outside the top 100 that are dudes, Tyleek and Denzel, absolutely. You had 10 guys in that class who became college football studs and will be in the NFL. Jack, JT, Emeka, Donovan, Travion, Mike Hall, Jordan Hancock, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tyleek, and Denzel. And 8 of those 10 dudes are back for their senior year, and that is crazy. I've been saying for a while now that the best thing to come out of all these changes in college football and the NIL era and the transfer portal are more guys staying for their senior year. Fewer guys entering the NFL draft early is an excellent thing, not just for the team you happen to cheer for, but for your college football, for all of college football in general, to be able to watch other teams and know guys on the other teams. It makes the product more enjoyable for everybody. And it's one of the reasons that college football or college basketball has gone downhill ever since the one and done era kind of came about. You don't know anybody on the teams from year to year. That part has hurt the game. To be able to get this back, and we get them for 3 years, but to be able to get more of those seniors in college football, it's better for the entire sport. It makes it so much more enjoyable for everybody. And 8 out of 10 guys, that's nuts. And for the main reason, they wanted to play together again and accomplish their goals as a team. And I don't care what anybody says, the ridiculous stuff that Ohio State paid them as much as they could have made as rookies in the NFL. That's ridiculous. Or they just came back to raise their draft stock. Sure, some of them could raise their draft stock, but that's a risky proposition. You look at a guy like Trey, who's already kind of saddled with the injury tag. That dude gets injured again, it could tank his draft stock. Several of these guys could move up. Several, they run a risk here. You could always hurt yourself. You could always fall back as well. They didn't care, man. They didn't care. We had Dylan Davis on the show, and Dylan reminded us that it was actually Cody Simon, not Jack, who declared first. And I remember the day he did it. It was sitting at one of those tables after a practice, and he just said it like mid sentence about talking about next year, and like, wait, you're coming back? Yeah, I'm coming back. I mean, not that he was going to be some super high draft pick, but just that kind of guy. Then you had Jack, and then Jack rallying the troops. We heard Denzel talk about it. It's just a special group of dudes. And this group of veterans, these senior leaders, NFL players, desperate to achieve their goals and cement their legacy. Had they left, they would have gone down as one of the best classes who did absolutely nothing. What does the story look like should these guys accomplish this goal? Should they complete the mission? They're going to go down as one of the most legendary units in the history of Ohio State football. 3 failures in a row, passing up the NFL, coming back and getting it done. Absolute all-timer. And guys, it starts tomorrow. I can't wait. I just can't wait. Anyway, so happy you guys are here with me today. Sorry to get all goofy with you, all sappy, and I'm just feeling it, man. I'm just feeling it like I haven't in a long time. I'm so ready to get this puppy kicked off. I'm so ready to see some clips out of practice. I mean, I can't wait. If you're going to practice, send those clips to me at Juck on Bucks at Juck on Bucks Twitter, or email them to me. I'll put them on the show. We want to get as many clips as we can in the show as we move forward. And this is just it's so exciting. Saw a crazy quarterback odds today. So Will Howard to start is minus 2,000. Julian Sayin to start plus 900. Devin Brown plus 1,800, which means that they are saying Julian Sayin is 2 times more likely than Devin Brown to start, to open the season as the starting quarterback. Now, that's really strange. I didn't see that coming, but I don't think it's a stretch to think that Julian could be the backup quarterback at some point this season. But certainly, Will Howard's going to be the starter unless he totally screws it up in camp. Like, that's just what it is at this point. Will Howard, the starting quarterback. Will takes a lot of crap, man. This guy takes an awful lot of crap. I'm very excited for him to prove everybody wrong, all these doubters and detractors. Very excited to see him run this offense, and this offense is going to suit his strengths. There's no doubt about it. You got Ryan Day and Chip Kelly sitting there figuring out how to best run this offense with that guy at quarterback. And how anybody could doubt that, like, I don't know, man. They know what the guy can do. They've seen what he can do, and now they've said, all right, let's make our fastball and suit it for this guy running the offense with this personnel. This offense is going to hum. It's going to absolutely hum. And we're getting back to some more running of the football. And this offensive line, we've all bagged on the fry man about the recruiting situation. Guess what? That's got nothing to do with this year. This year, he's coaching an offensive line with Chip, and they know each other and their styles very well. They have run successful run games together. And I think this offensive line, a year older, add Seth McLaughlin, you got 4 dudes with starting experience. If you get Carson Hinsman at right guard, you've got 5 returning starters. 5. All of them. One of them just happened to play for Alabama last year. If it's not, Gosh, take a look at this picture here. If it is not Carson Hinsman, and I've now heard we had Dylan on. Dylan said he thinks it's going to be Carson. I listened to Dave Biddle said he thinks it's going to be Carson. These dudes are pretty plugged in. I was thinking it was trending towards Tegra. Have a look, see at our dude Tegra. Tegra listed, I believe it's 6'4.5", 320. Look at this dude is mammoth. And I just am confused. I've seen Tegra's mean streak. There are some clips of him in high school where Tegra finishes a block, absolutely pulverizes a guy, and then just starts punching the ground. Now, a very mild-mannered guy, but an absolute mean streak on the football field. And I'm confused as to why this guy can't win that job. He still may. I'm not saying he won't. But it would seem to me like he would be the front runner for the job. Like, why can't why I want this guy? I want that guy. I want that enormous, nasty road grader guard. But, hey, they're trying to go side to side. They're trying to move a little faster. Maybe he's not his best suited for that. I'm sure they'll choose the right guys. But I do believe that this offensive line is going to be so tremendously improved. It's just exciting, man. This run game is exciting. Getting back to running the ball, Ohio State football. I won't be at practice at any point this week, I don't believe. Not in the cards for me this week, but next week, this weekend, I might be able to make it happen Saturday. I believe there's still tickets. I'm amazed. It's over a 2-hour drive for me, but I'm amazed that there's still tickets available to this thing. Maybe I will go down. Are the tickets still available today? I suppose I could go down and see my son lives in Dublin. I should have planned that, gone down with taking Mrs. Juck down. I should have done this. I even bought some of those travel microphones. Maybe I'll do that. All right, I'm back. It's too early. It's too early. I'd have to leave at like 5:30. Yeah, I'm just not feeling that. But I do really want to get some clips, and my buddy Dan's going to be there. He's going to join me on the weekend show, and we're going to talk from down there. Also going to get a report from Dylan down there. So we'll have it covered, but I do want to see your clips if you guys end up making it down there. And I do want to talk to you about something right now because I feel like I've been lied to my entire life. And I am hoping that some of the Buckeye fans who are watching, who are a little bit older than me, can shed some light on the following dilemma. Now, I was 13 years old in 1994. Was I 13? 14. I was 14 years old in 1994. Orlando Pace was a freshman. The first game he ever played in was the Kickoff Classic against Fresno State. And last night, as I do from time to time, I was watching some old Buckeye stuff, and I was watching the coverage of that game, and I was watching the pregame of that game. And I happened to stumble upon something that I found pretty troubling, and I'm going to tell you why here. So you've probably heard this 100 times in your life. When talking about Orlando Pace, there's a stat named after him. Who else has a stat named after him? Not named after him. They created a stat for him, right? The pancake block. You heard it before, haven't you? 100 times, right? All right. So I'm watching the game, not the game, the pregame, and this pops on. Now, I want you to watch carefully. We're going to start with an interview with Corey Stringer.
It's going to be ugly.
That's the All-American talking the truth. And folks, he's just a junior. He was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year in '91 and is a master of the pancake block. At 315 pounds, he must look larger than life to his defensive opponents. But he's not even the biggest on the line. That honor goes to the man-child, true freshman Orlando Pace. If this guy weren't so unnaturally huge, you would call him the natural. Can you believe this guy is considering playing basketball for the Bucks? He'll hold down the tackle spot opposite Corey Stringer. At guard is the hit knocker Jamie Sumner.
Did you catch it? He said Corey Stringer is a master of the pancake block. And this is Orlando Pace's first ever college game they're about to play in. But I thought that the pancake block was created for Orlando Pace. So could someone please explain to me what's going on here? Have I been lied to all my life here? Like I said, I was young. I can't say for sure if I remember that game or not. I do remember Orlando's freshman year. I do remember Joey Galloway was my favorite player of that team. I always thought that the pancake block was created after Orlando Pace. So please help me out here and tell me that that guy was just happened to say that, and that really isn't the case, or I don't know. Maybe I should look this up. I'm going to look it up right now. Okay, here's from Wikipedia. Pace was so dominant that the term pancake block, referring to when an offensive lineman knocks a defender on his back, gained popularity at Ohio State due to his play. He was nicknamed the Pancake Man. Several other college teams have been using the term since the 1980s, most notably Nebraska. In fact, the Ohio State Athletic Department distributed Orlando Pace pancake magnets as a promotion for his Heisman Trophy run. Pace did not allow a sack. So it says the term had been used since the 80s, most notably by Nebraska. Nebraska, obviously, famous, awesome offensive lines. And they had been using that term since the 80s. That's disappointing, man. That's disappointing. Anyway, love to hear you guys weigh in on this, but I can't believe I just happened to randomly catch that. And it totally has ruined that for me. But I do want to show you something else from that game. It's just kind of fun sometimes to look at some of this stuff.
To be the starting tailback here at Ohio State, because it's, a tradition of tailbacks here, with Robert Smith, Raymond, and Carlos Snow, all those guys, all those great athletes. And it's an honor just to be a part of it.
More than just a part of it. This guy is the total package and then some. 230 pounds and the strength to go with the size. He's waited patiently for this chance, and the time is now. And clearing the way for Eddie George are a pair of potential standouts. Mr. Versatile is Alex Rodriguez, a young man whose dedication to the game has brought him from the defensive end of the ball to the offensive side. He will share time with low-cal Matt Calhoun, a redshirt sophomore who puts the pow in powerful. No matter who's at fullback, some defensive players will know the meaning of punishment.
All right, folks, as you can see, I'm joined with some Ohio State Buckeye fans. Hey, look, I know you like Eddie.
Last year, the state very busy tonight. Ohio State at linebacker has a real rarity, not one but two Butkus Award candidates.
And boy, are they two candidates. And Lorenzo Styles is the first one. Last year, the staff moved him from outside linebacker to inside linebacker, and wow, did he find a home. Last year, he had 117 tackles, tremendous strength, good movement to the ball, and he's the undisputed leader on that defense. And Craig Powell, he's got speed at the outside backer spot. He runs a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash, and he may be the fastest linebacker in college football today.
In one season,
well, Butkus was his favorite player. He was born to...
Why do all these guys look so much older? These dudes all look like they're 35. Like, what's going on here, man? I really enjoy that. Lorenzo Styles, awesome. Fun to see him. And yeah, he definitely looked 35. How about featuring the fullback, two fullbacks featuring that on the intro. That's interesting. I feel like we know college football goes in waves, and the spread offense, when it first came about, the slow trickle into high flying offenses became so ingrained all over the country. And now I think we're going to see it slowly kind of trickle back to old school football. And I love that for one. But for two, I love it for fullbacks. I think that we got a chance at seeing some more guys like that. And I miss that. All right. So Chris Bayless of the Wolverine, that is the Michigan's On3 site, puts out a tweet yesterday in an article. And in this long article, he says that the notice of allegations from the NCAA could be out this week as far as the advanced scouting situation. And in that article, he then goes on to talk about what the potential punishment could be that he's also hearing from another source. And he kind of screwed up when he did that, because by putting these two things together, one, hearing that the NOA will be out this week, and two, also hearing from a different source what the potential punishments being floated are, a lot of people immediately dismissed what he was saying as nonsense because the NOA does not include the punishment. And it kind of made it seem like he was saying that punishment was going to be in the NOA. That's not what he meant. That wasn't in the article. But he kind of muddied the waters, and a lot of folks thought that he was full of garbage. And rightfully so. A lot of stuff that's come out of that side of the border about this Stallions thing has been a lot of nonsense and garbage, including Ryan Days getting investigated on a RICO charge and all that kind of crap. Like, those crazy narratives came from journalists. Like, that wasn't just fans making that garbage up. So they lost a lot of credibility to a lot of folks through a lot of the things they've done with the Stallions thing. But what does he say that his sources say? His sources say the NCAA could seek a postseason ban of 1 or 2 years. The Michigan sources said they would have accepted a large fine, but anything like that would be unacceptable to them. Also, that the NCAA is looking to make an example of them for not cooperating. I don't know how cooperative they were or not. They seem to go on and say in the article that they think they were very cooperative in the comments and stuff. Like Chris Bayless says that, some of their podcasters are saying that as well. I mean, I don't know if they're cooperative or not. The NCAA is ultimately going to tell us all, but it certainly doesn't seem so. Like, the public front they put on was one basically of like, screw you, we're not playing ball. I mean, Connor Stallions himself is being hit with an allegation for failure to cooperate, which could mean he didn't cooperate at all, or it could mean they gave him a list of 10 things and he did 9 of them and he didn't do number 10. Being charged with failure to cooperate, you got to do every single thing they ask. If he did 9 of them and didn't do 10, he would have been hit with the same thing. So did he cooperate at all? Did he cooperate 0 amounts at all? We don't really know yet. I think we've been led to believe that he did not cooperate at all. Might have. But what are the allegations? The thing I'm most excited for is to read this NOA, because to be quite honest, there's no punishment that's going to make me happy. I just want to read what exactly happened. What does the NCAA think happened from their side? That's what I've been looking forward to this entire time. That's what's going to close the book for me. I just want to know what happened. As far as the punishment, punish away, do what you think you need to do, but there's nothing that's going to satisfy me. Is there anything that's going to satisfy you? The only thing that would have satisfied me is if they put a halt on them right there. You're done. You're cooked. You were cheating this season. Your season's over. That's it. They hoisted that trophy. I saw it. You saw it. I don't know what else you can do to make that better for me. There's a separate violation in there for a former staffer, a separate incident that includes dinner and a ride, and at least 2 other staffers involved in paying for dinner. Those are level 2 violations. So that, along with the Stallions in-person scouting, is in there. And I got to say, man, putting that in there, I don't know if the NCAA is just trying to make this, like, are they trying to make it bigger, like by adding that in there? Because to me, adding that in there almost diminishes the Stallion stuff. 90% of college football fans, when they read stuff like that, someone the coach is buying dinner and giving a ride, they immediately think, okay, this is the NCAA, the same old garbage that we hate. So you're throwing that in there with these, what we believe are very serious allegations with the Stallion stuff. I mean, that's a bad look on the NCAA's part. And let's be honest, man. We got to remember these guys are bumbling idiots for the most time. Like these are the same guys that levied the punishments they did for Tattoo Gate, which is ridiculous, that are handling this investigation here. So definitely not like guys that are on the right side here. And throwing this allegation in there, rides and paying for dinner. I mean, it's just not a good look. They also say that a Michigan coach that is currently on the staff, I'm sorry, they don't say that. Bayless says a Michigan coach currently on the staff alleged to have erased all his messages between himself and Stallions. How many coaches are still on that staff since the turnover? Not many. One of them's the head coach. How funny would it be if it was him who was alleged to have erased the messages between himself and Stallions? I mean, he was the coordinator, right? That would be something, wouldn't it? So, I don't know, guys, but we should be able to read that thing soon. And if I was the NCAA, I certainly wouldn't do it as soon as camp starts. I would have done it before camp starts. I would have done it last week. Apparently, they were supposed to do it a month ago, but they wanted to stop and talk to Denard Robinson. They wanted to talk to the Nard dog, the one they call Shoelace, the worst nickname in the history of college football. It's ridiculous. Also in that article, Bayless says that Michigan's response probably would not go to before the NCAA, the Committee of Infractions, until mid-2025. So they got 90 days to respond. Why would it take until mid-2025 to go before the Infractions Committee? I don't know, man, but that's ridiculous. And these things take so long. And if I'm Michigan or their lawyers, I'm trying to kick this can down the road as far as possible. So by the time it does get down the road and it does become time to handle this all, it's such an afterthought that nobody cares and they just want to get it done. That's what I would do. So what punishment is going to make you happy that's realistic? Does a 2-year postseason ban make you happy? Does vacating wins make you happy? Does the championship need to be vacated before you're happy? I want to know what's going to make you satisfied, because to me, I don't think anything's going to make me satisfied. Nothing short of stopping them right there in the moment. Like, it looked like Tony Petitti almost had the stones to pull their coach for the rest of the season, but then he didn't. You know, he let him coach all during the week. He did, to me, what was the absolute minimum to make it look like he was coming down hard, but not really coming down hard. So you guys let me know, man. Let me know. Interested what you think, but we're going to be reading that NOA soon. All right. So we did a poll looking for a new rival, an out-of-conference rival for the Buckeyes. We did 4 polls. Each had 4 teams. I can't remember if I already showed you guys this or not. So Missouri, Tennessee, Utah, and LSU. LSU wins. Clemson, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Florida State. Clemson wins. Notre Dame, West Virginia, Pitt, and Alabama. Notre Dame wins. Miami, Virginia Tech, Georgia, and Florida. Georgia wins. So now we've got Georgia, Notre Dame, Clemson, and LSU. Georgia, Notre Dame, Clemson, and LSU. So that's going to be the next poll. Make sure you vote in that. My dude, Rock from Hoban, Archbishop Hoban in Akron, Ohio, chose to spend his weekend out with Dan Lanning, and that was their first meeting. We'll find out shortly how that went. I want to talk to you guys about this. So, this is the list. I put this together yesterday. So, from 2014 to 2023, 2 lost teams that would have missed the playoffs in the current format. So, in this current format, if you rolled it back, there are 3 teams in the Big Ten or the SEC that would have missed the playoffs with 2 losses, and 2 of them are Northwestern and Minnesota. There's only one name brand Big Ten or SEC team with 2 losses that would have missed the playoffs in this format, and that's Alabama in 2019. And 2019 was a very odd season that had a lot of couple of lost teams. And then if we look down, you got Oklahoma State in 2015, West Virginia in 2016, Washington State in 2018, Notre Dame in 2019, and that's the only other. Oh, never mind, Oklahoma there too. Notre Dame in 2019, BYU in 21, Washington in 22, Oklahoma in 23. So we're looking at Alabama in 2019, Notre Dame in 2019, Oklahoma in 2023. Those are the 3 brand name teams who missed with 2 losses. So in 10 years, 3 teams that are basically, teams like these helmets that missed. Well, I guess there was Washington too, and they got a helmet. The point is, very, very rare for a 2-loss brand name team to miss the playoffs. Very rare. We're not going to see it much. USC helmet. All right, let's get to some comments, guys. Neil Harris says, all Big Ten schools should take Notre Dame off their schedule. Now, I got that comment from Neil. I'm not quite sure what it was in reference to, but I imagine to get them to join the Big Ten. However, I checked their schedule, and the only Big Ten teams that they have on their schedule are Purdue and USC. USC already talking about taking them off their schedule, and I don't think they care about Purdue. So, I want them to join the Big Ten too. But, they've been so arrogant and snotty about it. I'm almost happy with them getting left out of things. All right. Grandpa Steve, and everyone can thank him for a clean, family-friendly show here. As I said a swear word one day, and he said, pardon me, sir, I like to watch with my granddaughter. Could you please not do that anymore? So I don't, so he can watch with his 6-year-old granddaughter, who is also a fan of Juck on Bucks. She's our favorite here. Grandpa Steve asked, do you think that we will play with other offensive linemen this year to get more experience? Because we will most likely lose a lot after this season. I definitely think that, let's say Carson Hinsman wins the job at right guard. We should definitely see some Luke Montgomery, definitely some Tegra Shabola. I think we'll also see some Austin Searveld and probably some George Fitzpatrick. I think those 4 guys definitely will get some reps here on the offensive line. How much? I don't know. Part of it is like, we are going for it all this year. So there is a lot of next year be darned. We got to make sure we win these games and can't be screwing around trying to get the guys ready for next year when we need to be worried about just this year. But I also think we're going to have a lot of blowouts like Chris and I were talking about the other day. These guys are coming pedal to the metal, leave no doubt. That's been Ryan Day's motto. And I mean, he's putting his foot on next this year. I think we all see that coming. And should they do that, we're going to get a lot of second team offensive line in there. But it would be very nice to integrate a couple of them in with the starting lineup. And I would really like to see that. Only Nike fan says, haven't gotten through the entire episode yet, but I think your take at the beginning about Ryan Day is on track. The Buckeyes are going to be a different monster this season. Go Ducks. And that is what we call a duck eye. We've got a couple around here. They're very complimentary of our Buckeyes and very respectful. We like them. They can stay. USC, not allowed. All right, guys. Now, tomorrow's Thursday, and that means our first show that's going to air on Menace to Sports in the morning. So the morning show is going to air on Menace to Sports. weekend show and live shows are going to remain on Juck on Bucks. So remember tomorrow to get over there and subscribe to Menace to Sports if you aren't already, and watch Juck on Bucks in the morning on Menace to Sports. Do not leave Juck on Bucks, though, because when the season starts and even through camp, we're going to be popping on, and I think it's going to be kind of the sweet spot. It's going to be the afternoon. So the morning show is going to air over there, pop on, boom, in the afternoon. And before, like when I'm doing my show prep for the next day, we're going to talk some things out, go over tomorrow's show earlier in the day, how the show went, and whatever we want to talk about, we're going to do that. And it's probably going to be the afternoon slot, which, like the 3 to 5-ish kind of range. But make sure you got your alarm set and make sure that you do go check that out. For my first episode over there, I'm very nervous. I hope it's a good one. I hope it's well received. I'm sure there'll be some people watching it that haven't seen Juck on Bucks before. And I hope you guys are there to support me and root me on. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at Menace to Sports. Juck on Bucks on Menace starting tomorrow. You guys are the best. Check me out on podcast. Please like the video. Juck on Bucks out.
I'm here for it. I'm really excited about what me and Juck have coming in the future. And if you do not already, if you don't sub to Juck, what are you doing? What's really going on? What's wrong with you? Sub to Juck, sub to Menace to Sports too, right? All that and then some. And always remember, when in doubt, let's get it.